Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today we have a different video. We have a birthday book haul video. Now, it is no longer my birthday and I didn't buy all of these books, or get all these books for my birthday. Mostly from the month of August, so a little fib there. And also, not all of these things are books. Some of these are DVDs, Blu-rays, and one CD, including comics if you want to count that as well. So without further ado, let's get straight into it with a CD. I got this yesterday, brand new and sealed. £2 by the way from eBay. Didn't realise I could get this for £2. So this album is called Waiting to Spill by the Backseat Lovers. Backseat Lovers are kind of like a folk, emo kind of band, and they are just phenomenal. This is their second album, I believe. I prefer their first album, it's incredible. But I can't get their first album because on vinyl it's like £150 or something, or $200. It's ridiculous, and I just have to stick to the the CD for this, which, you know, is fine. At least I have it, and it's pretty cool, and I like it. So the next thing I got yesterday from my mum, I'm very happy with this, and it is Stargate Universe Season 2. Now, they only have the DVD version of this in the UK, there is a Blu-ray version in America, but I'm not going to spend extortionate amount of money to buy that because I don't know if Universe is any good, because a lot of people tell me it's bad, or not as good as SG-1 or Atlantis. But everyone that tells me it's bad are Atlantis fans, and I despise Atlantis wholeheartedly. I think it's possibly one of the, not worst, but incredibly poorly written shows, especially for characters and just narratives and whatnot. Starts off great, and then the next episode is about a ghost on the goddamn base that they have, and it's such a it's insane tonal whiplash to go from a really graphic, gory opening episode to just Scooby-Doo, and it's not even good Scooby-Doo, it's just ridiculous.
This one begged for its life. Earth first. That has to kill you.
Do you think the ghosts of the ancestors still live here?
Jinto, go to sleep.
It is a prayer to the ancestors.
If you are angry that we have unrightfully inhabited your great city.
Enough of a ranting about Stargate. I'm very happy about getting this. Now I have the complete collection of Stargate, and I'm very excited to begin watching this. I know Brandon's been waiting for 1.5 years for me to actually finish Stargate, to be able to watch all of this. So Brandon, it's finally going to happen. Next week. The next thing I got was Brotherhood of the Wolf. I've not taken the sticker off because I can't be bothered. This is what inspired Bloodborne and Dark Souls from what I know, as well as, you know, Berserk inspired that as well. But I'm pretty sure this came out after Berserk, and I'm very excited to get this, as I also, thanks to Rodney, have the Bloodborne comic books. Only the first 3 volumes. I do believe there are 6 or 7 out now, so I have enough time to kind of digest and feast upon all these, as I've read the first volume already. It is really good. Not as good as Bloodborne, you know, as Bloodborne goes. It's alright, but it's still good in my opinion. So I'm excited to get to the rest of these. The next thing on my list, still keeping the comic book theme, is Wraith. I found this in a comic book shop in Bristol. I didn't know anything about it. I just saw it on the shelf and was like, that cover looks cool. Scrolled through a few pages, liked the art, realised it was like £4. Bargain for a brand new kind of comic it's quite thick. It's like very lengthy and reasonable, so I'm excited to start reading this. I know it's part of a series. It's also by Joe Hill, so it's going to be a horror galore, so excited for that. And then more of this is an art book and it's not a comic book, is the Firefly art book, and it is just gorgeous. A lot of the art in this is just incredible. Just there's a lot of different art styles, and it's just really cool. It reminds me quite a lot of the Critical Role art book, just a bunch of like fan stuff here and there, and just like some really cool quotes and stories in between it. And I haven't read this yet. I need to, because it's massive for one. But yeah, it's really cool. This was like £2 from Forbidden Planet. I that was insane. And the last thing I got from Forbidden Planet, I say this isn't the last thing, there are other things that I got, is the Dark Souls Complete Collection, because this was like going for £20 instead of 30, and I was like, why not? Treat for my birthday. I've not played Dark Souls. I played a bit of the first game and defeated 1 or 2 bosses in the third game. Never played the second one, but I need to play all the games because I know they're really good. Just money and all that. And I thought, might as well get the comic instead. Get more for what it's worth. And a lot of the artwork is really cool in this. And I take it it's like many different like artists doing different stories, and you can tell. And a lot of the art is just phenomenal. So again, very excited to get into that. And then keeping on the horror theme, we got American Horror Story Season 2 Asylum. When my mates Rodney and Brandon came over to stay for a week, we started watching a bunch of different horror shows and different horror movies, and I suggested that we watch American Horror Story because I'd seen a few episodes, haven't continued, and thought they'd really like it. And in the kind of spin-off series that they did, they have a Backrooms episode, and we're all interested in kind of like backroom stuff, liminal stuff, Lovecraftian horror and all that. We watched it, it was god-awful, and it was just like, let's go back to the main show because that was good. Finished season 1 within like 3 days. The finale is a very long epilogue that did not need to exist. Episode 11 was a perfectly good way to end the series, as we could have just thought about what the events would have entailed afterwards. So yeah, I'm not keen on the finale of American Horror Story Season 1. None of us were, but the entire season was really good. Halloween Part 2 is the best episode in that season. It was incredible. So we're very excited to watch this and also watch more of the show as it goes on, as we know it stays good for a decent amount of seasons, so there's a lot to take. There's a lot of content there. And I thought, since BBC iPlayer have lost the rights to many Doctor Who episodes, I would just buy them because it's just easier instead of like pirating and all that, and also having a physical copy for the collection, which is kind of like the current collection that I probably will keep forever, as it's just Doctor Who and it's important to me. And I bought Genesis of the Daleks because if you know me and know my letterboxd and know my insane weird opinions, or random generator opinions, as some of my friends have said, you would know I despise this episode. I will rewatch this because it has been a year and a month since I last saw it, so I do need to rewatch it. I will, I promise you guys. But yeah, I genuinely despise this episode, which is a shame because it's the first like episode of Davros, I believe, and it's the genesis of Daleks. I just think the Khaleds are so cringe. And then I got Terror of the Zygons. This actually turned 50 recently, on my birthday. That's so crazy. This came out on my birthday, 28 years before I was born. Crazy. And then I got Seeds of Doom in the most irritating clear case ever. Opaque, rather. Yeah, excited to watch Seeds of Doom. I definitely have seen these two serials before when I was very young, but I just don't remember them for the life of me. But yeah, I love the Zygons. I also love when Doctor Who is dark and very horror-filled, so I'm going to really enjoy these episodes. City of Death. Again, I've probably seen this years and years ago, but I don't remember a single thing about it. And the second to last DVD is The Orville Season 1, which I bought from the charity shop, as well as a lot of these DVDs. DVDs are so cheap in charity shops. I got so many of these books for £1 or £2 from charity shops. Go to charity shops, guys, or thrift stores in America. They are so good. You get a lot of cool stuff there. In my local one, they have so many fantasy books on that I'm just trying to stop myself from buying them, because there's so many and so many different ones that I've never heard of before. There's so many cool universes to dip my toes into. But yeah, Orville Season 1, again, the last 3 episodes are god-awful. Well, the third to last is okay, and the last 2 are just so bad. There's a theme with terrible finales in this video. Yeah, love Orville, better than Star Trek as far as I'm concerned. Definitely leans too far into comedy, and I kind of wish it would pull back at some points, because there's some episodes that would have just hit harder if they kind of pull back on the humour. It also brings a smile to my face that they won Best Makeup over Discovery. And the last DVD is Sanctuary Series 1. I've never seen this. Brandon has recommended it to me, but has also reminded me that it ends on a cliffhanger. Like every show that gets cancelled ends on a cliffhanger. And the first book on the list, actually properly getting 2 books now, is Promise of Blood by Brian McClellan. This is a flintlock fantasy / grimdark, I believe. I have no idea what the story about aside from that, and that's what drew me in. And I just love the fact that it just opens like that. I'm probably going to read this after I finish the Mistborn Trilogy Era 1, because I need to read something else, and I think I'd really enjoy this, seeing as the D&D campaign I am running is almost a little bit heavy on the flintlock fantasy side of things, and insanely hard on Lovecraftian themes. The next thing on my list is something I bought for £2 from a charity shop. Very happy. But the thing that I hate is on the cover, it has a sticker, a non-removable sticker that's imprinted into the cover itself, aka the dust jacket, and that is Piranesi. I've heard so many good things about this book, and I don't know anything about it, literally nothing about it, and I'm just excited to read it. And it's like, what, 200 and something pages? 250 pages. I can whack that out in like 3 days if I put my mind to it. And yeah, I have a lot of small books here, followed by just absolute behemoths. This is going to be one of the books that I read in between Mistborn. I say this now, it's not going to happen. Similar with my books I want to read in 2025 video. I have not read any single book from that list aside from one, and that is All Systems Red, which I will talk about in another video at the end of the year. The next book on my list is something that I, again, bought from a charity shop, £1, and that is The Dragonbone Chair by Tad Williams. And it has a really cool cover, and I think this is like the American edition, I'm not too sure. Kindred by Octavia Butler. But again, like with Dragonbone Chair and Piranesi and Promise of Blood, no idea what this book is about. I just heard many good things about it. And the second to last book on this list is Sally Rooney's Normal People. Again, £2 from a charity shop. Guys, go to your charity shop or thrift store, support them, because you can get so many books for dirt cheap and in good condition as well. I've seen the show. I'm half and half on the show. I think the first half is far weaker than the second half, but I'm excited to read this. I've read like bits of it in like different sections, and there's no quotation marks, which I find really interesting, but it's proven to be very difficult to gauge who's speaking at points, just reading bits of it. So I'm hoping when I do sink my teeth into this, it will be easy to read. And the last book on this list before I get to the behemoth of books by one author in particular, that is Tusk Love by Thea Gounson? Thea Guanzon. I'm so sorry that I've butchered your name. But Tusk Love is a book inspired by a joke in Critical Role. If you don't know, Critical Role is a D&D series on YouTube and Twitch, where a bunch of nerdy voice actors sit around and play Dungeons & Dragons. It's run by Matt Mercer, and you've got like people like Laura Bailey, Travis Willingham, Ashley Johnson, so many big names in this D&D series. And this joke started in, I believe, Campaign 2, Episode 10 or 11, where Caleb wants to go to a smut book shop and tries to find some things in like the band or like the locked section, and ends up getting Tusk Love, which he gives to Jester to read, and she, throughout the series, kind of reads bits of the book and spouts random crap about it, and it's the funniest thing, and I can't believe that 7, almost 8 years later now, we have the book. So yeah, I'm very happy with this. Also, it's in a lovely purple kind of edition, and purple is my favourite colour, so very happy about that. A lot of these hardcovers, really nice bindings on them, really nice hardcover, and really nice, what's the word, dust jackets, but this one is my favourite in particular because I didn't realise this till a month later after my sister bought it with me. It has a reversible cover with Jester and Ford on there, and a bunch of like writings from like and reviews from different characters in the show, like Bo and Yasha and like Marion Lavore and Essek read it as well, which is the best, and including Orly and Puma. I love that so much. So I'm very happy with this, and I'm excited to read it. As I've read a couple pages, it is so funny already. It's literature at its finest, and I'm very excited to read it all the way through. Right, now for the massive behemoth of books that I have right beside me that I'm so just I get giddy when I look at it. I'm just like, there's so many stories here, so many cool things, so many things that interconnect between each other, and that is Brandon Sanderson's Cosmere. No, I didn't get all of his books, as I'm not that crazy. I did buy quite a lot of them though, and a lot of these were gifts from people, and a lot of saved up money prepared for my birthday, as I had a lot go on this year. These past 3 years have been a nightmare with uni, and I thought, you know what, graduated uni this year, gonna treat myself properly this time and get something that I will remember. So, starting off with Warbreaker in this gorgeous edition, and it's purple, which again, favourite colour, probably will like this. The fact that Brandon Sanderson wrote this on his honeymoon, it is, and just show how crazy this guy is, 652 pages. My guy wrote this chonker on his honeymoon. How? How long was that honeymoon? How much time did you spend writing this? How? I don't know how he does it. I hopefully one day I'll be able to reach that like level of writing quickly or reading quickly. But goddamn, man, Warbreaker standalone was supposed to get like a sequel or something. I don't know what happened to that. I think that's been like a rumor that's been thrown around for years or something. I don't know if Brandon said that himself, but very excited to read this, and I think this is going to be the one that I read also in between Mistborn and potentially Mistborn Era 2. Don't know which one I'll start first. It'll be either Stormlight Archive or Mistborn Era 2, or I'll jump between the two, as I can't read Lost Metal till I think Rhythm of War or something, so I need to get a few more Brandon Sanderson books, as I have all of them. Yeah, that's too many. And the next one is his first published novel, Elantris, or Elantris, however you want to pronounce it. And I remember when this cover used to be green, I believe, and then they gave that to Arcanum Unbounded, and I kind of prefer the green, but I also like the orange. I think the orange is really nice. So I've read a couple pages of this already. Again, as ever, excited to read this. It is 590 pages, so it's much shorter than Warbreaker, so that I might read this one instead, because I as much as I'm like enjoying Mistborn trilogy, my god, it takes a toll on you. And I say that I'm like really enjoying it. There's been, it's like solid, but also that I have a lot of issues with the first book, and I'm hoping for the second book, which is the one that I'm on now, Well of Ascension, that I enjoy it a lot more. And the next book is on my list is Words of Radiance, Part 1 and Part 2. Now, the story with this one is, I tried to hunt down the original copies because my Way of the King's copies are the original editions, and I'll show them now. They have the small author name and the mildly big title, and it has like some little curls and wisps on it, and it just aesthetically looks really nice, and I really like that, and it's kind of similar to my Oathbringer copy. But since Brandon Sanderson is a giant in the fantasy community, and you know the resale for his books are tremendous, he also did a kind of rebranding similar with, you know, these ones, where there's kind of the shiny name and, you know, smaller title and whatnot, and I was hoping to find the original versions where it would look like this, and that's what I wanted, and I hunted them down for a while, managed to get some decently cheap copies, which were like £4, instead of spending £12 separately, and I ordered the Part 2 of Words of Radiance, where the image shown was the original cover, and they gave me the new one, which, again, I know it's a very small thing, but I liked for one of my book series to actually be uniform and continued. Even though I have the oversized version of Oathbringer, it still would have worked because I would have had Way of Kings as the original and Words of Radiance as the original. But I'm not too fussed, but I'm just a tad annoyed because it would have been cool to have them streamline. But yeah, Words of Radiance, these books are just massive, and the next one is huge, and that is Rhythm of War. And Rhythm of War was like the first I think it was the first book that came out for Stormlight Archive that I was like aware of. I watched a bunch of different YouTubers like Murphy Napier, Daniel Green, Peruse Podtrick, and all these other ones talking about the series, and I was kind of getting into potentially buying them around late 2019, or it was mid 2019, early 2020, and this came out, and I was like, that's behemoth that I'm never going to get to. And trying to find the oversized copy of this one was difficult because I almost bought one which was a smaller size than Oathbringer, but I've seen the small, like, compact copies of these books, and it's really difficult to open them. Like, I really struggled. Like, I went into Waterstones, and I was like, I might as well just have to buy this because they're cheaper in store. And then I tried to read the copy of Way of Kings, couldn't open it. Tried to do the same thing with Oathbringer and Words of Radiance and all that, and I just could that's it, nothing. But with this, look at that, I can read all those words. I don't have to do anything. That's a spoiler that I shouldn't have seen. The spoiler that I read was somebody wiggles. I'm not even joking. The only word I read on that page was wiggle, so that's cool. I think this is the one that I have to read before Lost Metal. I have no idea anymore. The reading order is just a pain. But I'm kind of going ish by publication order as well, and just so I can progress with Brandon's writing, which I probably should have read Elantris first. But people told me to read Mistborn because that's an easier way to get into the series. I disagree but yeah, Anyways, Arcanum Unbounded is the other one that I was given for my birthday, and this is a bunch of short stories. This has White Sand as a black and white comic, which is kind of cool. Wish it just was White Sand, but that costs hundreds upon thousands of pounds to even buy now if you want to read it and get the physical version, but it's fine. It's fine. This also has Edge Dancer in, which I believe I read after Words of Radiance or Oathbringer. I can't remember which one, but also I need to get Dawn Shard because that's the one that I haven't bought yet. And I saw that in Waterstones the other day, and it's like tiny. So yeah, I'm excited to read this as it has Emperor Soul in as well, which I can read, which I probably will read after I finish Mistborn Era 1 to kind of stay in this universe. So yeah, and oh no, it's split already. Oh, damn it. It's because I looked at White Sand so much. Another one on my list is Steelheart, not the Cosmere. Found this in Iceland for 50p. Yes, Iceland. Found a book in Iceland, and it was 50p. And I was like, you know what? Grabbing that. This is like his superhero novel. It's part of a trilogy, which I am very intrigued by, which I'll probably read at some point in my Brandon Sanderson journey. So, yeah. And the last one on this list is something that arrived today. It is the Wax and Wayne quadrilogy, which is absolutely stunning. When I opened the box of this, I was just like, why are they so thin? Why have they been drained? What has happened? Because I'm so used to this. Like, I'm used to this size. And then it's just tiny. What is this? It's smaller than just one of the standard, like, bruh. It's the size of two of these books. And I was originally going to read the series before Mistborn Era 1, which I kind of wish I did now, because I did listen to like the first 10 minutes of the audiobook for the first book, and I was like, I really enjoy this a lot more than I have with Mistborn already. But I've already read Mistborn, I might as well continue with Era 1. Yeah, and I've also been spoiled for a bit of Lost Metal, which I'm not too mad about, as I kind of expected. I'm in the book community. I'm in the fantasy book community and like dabbling into Brandon Sanderson stuff as well on Discord servers. So I was expecting to be spoiled for certain things, and a lot of the things that I was been spoiled for was for the first book that I was already reading, and I kind of proved a lot of my points with the first book that it's incredibly predictable. And I've just read a bit of the blurb on the back of this book, which probably shouldn't have done, but I know this is set like several years after Mistborn Era 1, so that's normal. But yeah, look at how thin this book is. Alloy of Law. 325 pages. The only thing that I kind of heard about this is that it's kind of like urban fantasy in a way, and flintlocky or something, and is set later in the time period for this universe, and is kind of vaguely Dresden Files. That's what I've been told. I don't know if that's true, but that just sounds so up my alley. And again, the first 10 minutes that I listened to the audiobook, I loved, so I probably will really enjoy this when I read them. So I'm very excited to get to that one. And the next one is Shadows of Self, which again, these covers are just gorgeous. And this one's short as well. This one's like 370 pages. Like, they just look famished. They need something more in them. And Bands of Mourning being the biggest in the trilogy, when this was a trilogy. And this one's 437 pages. This like series is so short compared to like the first one. I'm kind of hoping Ghost Bloods, aka Mistborn Era 3, is kind of like an in-between of like Era 1 and 2, where it is kind of like maybe consistently 400-500 pages to balance out, you know, you're going from big books to kind of thin babies to kind of medium rares. The last one is Lost Metal, which I've been spoiled so much for over the years. It's exactly 500 pages. And one thing that I am annoyed with the new Mistborn Era 1 books is the fact that the inside pages, they don't go like completely to the edges, and these ones kind of almost do, and you're just kind of reading this small little slither of text down the middle, and it's really distracting going from the original copy for Final Empire, and it just wall to wall, well, page to page, just text. But yeah, I'm very excited to get into this series because, again, I really enjoyed those first few minutes of the audiobook, and I really struggle with audiobooks, so it managed to grab me, which, you know, wow, that's crazy. But yeah, I definitely am going to be in a small minority where this might be my favourite over Era 1. But yeah, that's Era 2 right there. And that is the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed this haul. I hope this video doesn't make me look like I'm made of money, which I'm not. This was just a lot of saving up money, a lot of charity shopping, a lot of hunting, and the birthday. So I very excited to get to all of these stories in the coming years, as I know it will take a while for me to read all of these. So yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I shall see you in the next video, which will be probably the Mistborn reading vlog, which is a long video, as I said earlier. And then after that, I believe it will be a review or another video in similar league to books. So yes, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video, guys. Have a good morning, day, evening, afternoon, wherever you are in the world. Good night.